Well, good morning and welcome to Brasenose One on the Linear Fisheries Complex for the next round of ball cam. Bit of a strange concept with this one. We did actually arrive yesterday, and I think the lake had been actually closed for a couple of weeks, for a bit of a rest period, and there was the British Carp Angling Champs semi-finals last weekend, and not surprisingly, the lake's mobbed. Do you mean for those of you that have fished any of the lakes on the Linear Fisheries Complex, you know, great fish in each of the lakes, and as a result, obviously the lakes do get busy, so you need to try and time your arrivals. I was down here for about 9:30, which would have been Tuesday morning. Managed to find a swim in an area I was happy to start from. However, what it meant for Adam, who was joining us later in the afternoon, and also my good old pal Jason Cann, who's my BCAC partner again this year, and that is, to be fair, that's kind of the twofold reason why we're up here for this session, for a bit of practice for the BCAC, and also bring the ball cam on tour. So those of you that watch the Burners Hall edition or instalment, we did mention we're going to come up here, so here we are. Yeah, need to make my point. Adam and Jason haven't got a swim yet, so I've had rods out, and to be fair, it's been quite a good night's fishing. A couple of fish sort of on dusk. It really sort of kicked off, and you know, the spot started rocking after fairly sort of concerted effort with the swamming to get some bait out, and then I think it was a further couple of bites on zigs prior to that. We lost a couple, and then I think Jace landed one on one of my rods. So we just kind of, you know, yesterday evening was just kind of getting into the groove and just seeing what was going on. But if it carries on like this, I think we're in for a great session. I've not kind of counted the fish that we've already had as part of the ball cam, because I think that's probably a bit unfair on Adam. So Adam's moved into a swim to my right now. So yeah, we're up and running, we're rocking. Now he's moved into the swim. I've got a fish behind me here, which I will count. So we're going to count this as number one. So I've got a mirror in the net. Let's get it out and have a look at her. Ball cam out. Let's do this. Well, Mr. Cann is operating the ball cam. Good morning, Mr. Cann.
Good morning.
How are we this morning?
Coffeed up and ready to go.
Did you enjoy your camp last night?
I called it Spod Camp.
Yes, you were. You had your uses last night. You cooked us a great curry, and you assisted with the spodding. However, I think when you get fishing later on, mate,
there might be a bite or two.
Well, what are we saying about the conditions then? It's
about as good as you can get for carp fishing.
Yeah. Right, I think I already mentioned we probably won't be weighing every fish, because if it does kick off, we're just not going to have time, and I'm not going to tempt fate by saying that or be arrogant at all, but sometimes it's better just to keep a tally of the fish and then keep them going. So we calling that £21, Jace?
Looks about right, mate.
Just want to get an idea, because obviously for match weights and stuff in a few weeks' time, when we're actually down here, you know, we can then keep a mental record of what's been going on. So yeah, £21. Okay, mega. Time to slip this one back. Actually, it's probably worth saying. I've only just put the rods back out. They'd literally been out about 20 minutes. I ended up bringing them in at about 3 o'clock. Just thought, need to get some sleep. Stop baiting, and I must admit, then when I woke up this morning about 6 o'clock, I thought, oh no, you know, if the shoulder fish has moved off, then it's going to perhaps take a bit of work just to get them back. 10 spods with no rods in the water, 3 rods back out on the spot, and it's gone within 10 minutes. So I'm taking that as a good sign. So need to get the rod back out and get some more bait in. I think just keep working it. 5 spods, 5 spods, 5 spods, and see how we go. and Adam Reed's getting set up. Need to get bait in, geese.
Well, get your
Two bites on each rod, done. That's what it was last night, ended up. So no real preference to hook bait or anything. It was like...
No, I was hoping that something would show a massive...
I think if it was out there and it was fishing, which obviously those rigs were... Geese?
Ball cam, is it rolling?
Yeah, of course. It's always rolling.
Always rolling. Always rolling.
Yes. Today it starts in earnest, boys. Jason's been spodding for me while I've been sorting out the rod from which I got a bite from earlier on, so I do feel like I'm... Oh, I've got a bit of a tail walker here. Yeah, I've probably got a little bit of an advantage over Adam at the moment, but it's not about that anyway. However, this will be a second fish. So this ball cam is definitely up and rolling. I think Adam's got a wriggle on. Not surprising, I think he wants to get a rod out. So, conditions for fishing on the bottom, certainly up in Oxford. I haven't done a huge amount of fishing up here in recent years, and I think the last time I was down on B1 was probably for mine and Jason's semi-final 2 years ago, which I think we fished reasonably well. Could have fished it better, but we won the match and got into the BCAC final. So that was 2 years ago. So, as I mentioned before, that's the main reason for us being up here, for a bit of practice. And at the moment, it's going all right. That was the corn rod. I thought that was the one that went before. No, that's definitely got 2 grains of fake maize or fake corn hanging out of its mouth. Game on. Well, I think we're looking at an Abu Dhabi here. An upper double. It might push 20, I'm not sure. What do you reckon, Jace?
Probably a scraper.
Yeah, there or thereabouts. Number 2 from this morning. Lovely. Right, I've only got one rod in play. Let's get it sorted.
Good morning, ball cammers.
Morning, Mr. Reed.
Mr. Cann is in battle curve.
Mr. Cann.
Jawohl, mein Herr.
Well, to be fair, mate, you deserve to have a go on a rod because you have been doing a bit of work, haven't you?
Well, I think it's probably 2 buckets of spod so far, and I've not even got a rod of my own out of my rod bag yet.
Mate, I'm loving this because you're sort of doing it for me. What says you, Mr. Reed?
Well, I'm in semi-position. I've just got to start spodding and get some rods in action, but I'm enjoying watching Jason, so
would you
I'm in no rush.
Would you feel better if I come and helped you spod as well?
Of course.
Just to even it out
Yeah,
just a bit.
maybe if you do 5 in this swim, 5 in that swim.
No, we've had an idea.
Right, okay.
For us to practice how we need to practice for the match.
Yeah.
There's no way that we can bait 2 swims.
Okay.
Not with the intensity that you need to stand a chance at qualifying.
Right.
So, we're thinking I'm going to pump 3 zigs long from the next swim and fish the zigs behind the baited spot.
Okay.
And then Jell and I will tag team this swim as if it's what we've drawn in the match.
Okay.
And
so treat this as
almost
a sort of
use it as a match swim.
Yeah.
You know, there was no choice. No, it's not a double take, it's just gone under it. You know, there was no choice. There was no swims available. We just picked one empty swim, and you make the best of what you could make of it for 2 days, and then
see how many fish it actually does you, and see whether you would have been in with a
chance with what happened at the weekend.
Okay.
I think that's quite a nice concept, boys.
I think that's a good plan.
Seeing as we do tend to make it up as we go along.
Jason said he feels like this one's got a bit more weight to it. You still feeling like that, Jay?
Yeah, now it's picked up the other rod, it's doubled in size.
Yeah, I bet it has.
Yeah,
Jell's 9 ounce.
Yeah, because you've not been concentrating on what you've been doing.
No, I haven't, mate.
Too busy chatting as usual, Jace.
It's a good action.
Could be quite interesting.
Right, I've picked up the ball cam, and Jace is still playing in this carp that we've just seen just now. Feels like a better fish, and as you can see, Jell is already on the spawn rod. Found that's a must ball, picking that rod straight back up.
Yeah, with no rods in play, mate, we've got to get bait out there. They're up for it, so you just got to make the most. Keep ringing that dinner bell.
Indeed. I'm looking forward to getting involved in a bit of this.
I think I'm getting a bit old for this sort of fishing, mate.
This is making you young again though, these ball cams. You're getting out and doing it.
You're probably right.
I was going to, at some point this weekend, mention the R word of retirement from competitions. But you get up here in a competition environment and it just gets buzzing, doesn't it? Just makes you want to have it.
Yeah, and you just ache a bit more for a few more days afterwards. So, good fun though.
Yeah, you can't beat it. I must admit, I've had those chats over the last qualifier. My partner Mick, and sometimes I think you get a bad draw and all the effort and the practice and stuff, and you get a bit despondent. But once you're in the mix,
sorry, old boy.
It's sort of, well, there ain't no feeling like it, is there, being in the mix in any sporting environment, to be honest?
No, not in something that you love.
Yeah.
Especially as a pair as well.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
It's good fun.
You feed off each other's energies, don't you?
It's amazing how on some venues when it's tight for fishing and you can land a 7 or 8 pound common in the night, and you'd think you'd caught a 50 pounder
to third, and you think, yeah, we're in with a chance now.
Yeah, and it's a great feeling. You're feeding the goals out there, Bull.
I'm feeding something. I reckon this might be 4 or 5 spawns while you're...
Well, we're actually feeding floaters and fishing singles underneath it. But don't tell no one.
No, don't tell no one. We'll edit that bit, Joe.
Well, you can let that air after the match.
That's it.
Big old rudder on it.
Yeah.
That's where he's been giving you the grip jip, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the thing, the average size of these fish in here now
Is proper.
Yeah. Literally, you're expecting almost every fish to be a 20 pounder or bigger. Mental. Mental.
Quite a unique little venue, isn't it?
Yes. Come on in, Joe.
He's done that before.
The odd time. Right, I'll deal with this.
Well done, old boy.
Get some rods out.
Yeah, man. Cool.
here's what was giving me all that grief. As usual, it's halved in size by the time you actually get it in, but little barbless hook, 2 bits of fake corn, one lovely Brasenose One 20-pounder.
Well, you better get another rod out, Jace. Or a rod out.
Yeah. Let's put this little beauty back. This is no good. We need 3 things on here.
Trying to get wrapped around my lines every single time. He's probably gone over and under about 4 times. So I think I would just play him under. Small mirror by the looks of him. Judging by the way these are fighting and feeding, it looks as though they got the spawning out of the way. They're intent on one thing.
Munch, munch, munch.
Or 2 things. Munchy munchy. And lots of fighting close in. This is ridiculous. Right, I think he's given up.
What, you or the fish?
Foregone conclusion, Jason. Double corn, that's number 3. Come on. Alright, another fish just trying to get wrapped around the other lines. Another small mirror. Probably would have rather netted this to the other side, but it's gone under the other rod, so I shall net him where he blooming well is. Spirited, sir. Spirited. Double corn again. Lovely. Now, I don't know if you can see that from here. You see that, Jace? I managed just to clip the reel up when I picked into the fish. Literally just lifted into it, walked back, found the marker and clipped it up. And then literally once I unhook this fish, quick sharpen the hook, then it's back out. All it does, it just saves time, especially if you're competition fishing. And all those, extra little minutes, they all count. So yeah, just a little tip. It's not an absolutely essential one, but it's one that we do when we're sort of match prepping and practicing. So yeah, something to try. Morning, Mr. Cann.
Morning.
Thank you for baiting up my spot.
You're very welcome.
Or are we saying our spot?
I think we'll call it a commandeered match practice spot.
Yeah, good call.
But
What's the fish count now? Are we on six this morning?
I think we are, mate, yeah.
However, we've had a couple of losses, haven't we? Which is...
Frustrating.
yeah.
Just a slight rig tweak, I think, with how they're feeding. Maybe an extra inch on the hook link, just to let it go back that little bit more. So rather than it just pinging off the lip, because a couple in the mat, haven't they? They've been kind of what I would call, you look at it and go, oh, that one was only just on. So an extra inch, just let it shoot back a little bit more. We'll see what the next 3 or 4 bites gives. And if we start going back to like an inch inside the mouth in the corners, then it just tells you exactly how they're feeding.
Let me just come round this side. Let's just have a little look at the mix. I'm just struggling to see that. That's better. Hemp corn pellet boilie.
Bit of yellow.
Yeah. I see you've put some of your bait in there as well.
Only because we were running low on on the 8mm yellows.
Well, going back to what you were just saying about the hook holds, interestingly, I think we've had a run of smaller fish this morning.
Yeah, we have.
Whereas those fish yesterday evening, 27,
yeah.
20, 24s, 25s, the hook holds were better on the same rigs, weren't they?
Yeah, they feed different. I think you get this pack mentality of, and let's face it, you could have 50 fish. You could have 100 fish come over you. I've seen it in here when I've been on the floaters. You can have an empty swim, and then all of a sudden it's just like a shoal of salmon in America.
Salmon, I like it.
And they just come through and you go, there's too many to count. And unless you've got bait constantly going in, I think you get so much competition, they're snatching. And if your hook link's just a little bit too short, them smaller ones,
yeah, you just nick them.
You just nick them, and you know there's weed, and it just affects the hook holds. So a little rig tweak, more food, a few slightly larger items of food, just to stop so much snatching. A bit more corn, and that'll sort that problem out, and we'll start putting them back in the net instead of losing them at the bloody rod tip.
Sounds like a plan, mate. Right, let's do it.
Then bacon sandwiches.
Sorry, what was that again?
Bacon sandwiches.
Oh, now you're talking. All this fish talk is becoming a little bit tiresome.
Yeah.
Finally, he's mentioned food. Good lad. Anyway, keep baiting my swim.
Yes, sir.
Lovely boy. Alright, well that's the swim, and I do believe
It's my turn.
it's Jason's bite. Left hand rod perchance?
Left hand rod.
Oh, clip's pulled. Go on then, mate.
That didn't take long, 6 spods, right over the top, bang. Subtler bite, that one. The last 3 or 4 have been absolute flyers.
Yeah, they've been howlers, haven't they?
Yeah. And this one's going to boil and kite it out into the left.
Probably while you're playing this one in, obviously we've not really had chance to mention ranges, tactics. We're at 26 wraps, aren't we, Jace? Which is, in old money, just over 100 yards.
Yes, just over 100 yards. That magical number that if you can comfortably fish accurately, spod to, you can get bites all day long. At certain times and during obviously the competitions, and there's a particular element of reference to the competition in this piece with your bull cam this time, because it is in essence simulating roughly what we're going to do in the match. It's a little bit artificial because you haven't got the pairs either side of you,
Yeah, and
either.
probably the competitive baiting
Yeah.
that you would expect in a
Yeah.
match, which, as we found before, it can be savage,
Yes.
especially when you've got some
Yeah.
keen youngsters in the swim either side of you.
Yes, damn those youngsters.
Well, we have got a combined team age of nearly 85, mate. So
Yeah, but we don't talk about that. We never talk about that.
85.
We don't talk about that.
No, we don't. No,
What,
we don't.
me mid-20s and you something else?
Hey, I've shaved off my grey beard. How dare you? Just for this session.
But no, what you haven't got is you haven't got the experienced match anglers either side. And there's some very good pairs fishing it this time. And if you get it wrong or you slip up, you fall down the leaderboard. It's that simple.
Well, I guess essentially what you're looking at is, and we spoke about it yesterday, and I know it sounds horrible, but with this style of fishing, baiting tight and fishing 3 rods on it, you are looking to steal other people's fish, aren't you, with the bait?
Yes. Bait and accuracy.
And that's something which has to be practiced. And
Yep.
I know I mentioned it on the last ball cam when I was out with Adam down at Berners Hall, because we fished in a very similar way. If you don't do this fishing regularly, you get out of practice,
You do.
and you need to do it for it to come naturally again. I know you've done it for many years, but
Yeah,
not so much recently.
I'm just about to sportingly wipe Adam out, I think. No, I did it for years. And they obviously call it the Elstow style of fishing, because Elstow is obviously a very deep pit in places, and the bars and the spots that were productive were shallower spots in sort of 25 to 30 foot, and they had to put all 3 rods on a couple of dustbin lid size spots and then spod accurately to it. Yeah, I know, mate, but I got a fish. Thanks, mate.
Too much talking, not enough winding.
Yeah. So you then take it to a 30-acre gravel pit like this, and you still fish a very, very small spot, but you cram all 3 rods in 6 or 8 foot, and as long as you can spod accurately to the same spot, you can turn one take into a double take, and sometimes a double take into a triple take, whilst your buddy is spodding over the top to keep the swim going, whilst your spare rods are in the bushes, and it's just in the net,
Yeah.
bang, cast, in the net, bang, cast.
Well, I think that is the advantage of fishing as a pair, because you can't play and bait up. Obviously, in this instance, I've got the camera, and I should really be spomming, to be honest. But there's only so many things I can do. I can't spom and ball cam at the same time.
No. So it's not going to be full match simulation, but it's still good practice, as in fishing how we're going to fish in the match. Find those little edges that the fish prefer at the minute. When we got here yesterday, nobody was catching off the bottom. Everyone was getting the odd bite on zigs, and it's taken us kind of 12 hours, sort of 4 buckets of bait, and we've now dragged the fish down in our spot,
It's probably 5 buckets of bait actually now, mate.
and we've made them have it on the bottom, whereas everyone was just chucking single zigs and a bit of slop, whereas I'd much prefer to try and catch them on the heavier lines rather than trying to catch them on 10-pound zigs.
Absolutely. Right, let's just get you a landing net. So I can multitask. Do you want it just down there, mate? Yeah. Tell you what, if I'm the boy.
Just have it in.
Right, where's the net? Oh yes, there we go. I'm going to film and net fish. I think you're in shot. Yes, you are. Well done, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Well done.
Right, now make me a cup of tea.
I want my bacon sandwich. How dare you?
Here's the culprit of that nice fight. A nice B1 20-pounder. We're not going to weigh them all. We're just going to concentrate on trying to catch as many as possible and simulate match conditions. Lovely condition fish. So obviously you can see the fish is still in the net, and we're not using the retention slings, and it's literally just catch one, net it, settle yourself down, take a picture, and let him go.
He's tried to swim through my legs, Jace. Goodbye, mate. Jason Cann.
He can.
Bacon sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah, hear me?
I do.
Good. Ball cam out. Well, we've got Adam Reed in N2 chest waders. I've got a load of tuna all stuck in my teeth, or just having something to eat. And after putting another 10 spoms out, we kind of thought it maybe gone a little bit quiet. I reckon we're 10:30, 11:15 now maybe. And the left-hand rod's gone again. It seems to be that this this short braided double fake corn rig is doing the do, and we've been experimenting with some of the goose. I think it's the spicy squid that we've been putting on these, and it's definitely been bringing quicker bites. So, which has been interesting. So literally got 3 identical rigs out there now. And the bites keep coming. I think you keep putting the food in and the fish can't help themselves. I don't think this is a bad fish. This feels bigger than... I think we had a run of smaller fish, kind of like mid to upper double figure fish, and they were just going mad. But this feels reasonable. And I've got the old GoPro on my head. I forgot about that. I probably do look a bit odd, but no change there, says Adam Reed.
So I can vouch for that, in case you needed some reassurance.
Yeah, no change there. Right, this one's just wallowing around. I'm going to come behind Adam and get that. Actually, get that You've got the benefit of waders, mate.
I know, it's lovely, ain't got to worry. That's me, I think. Just touched it.
Bad fish that, mate.
No, chunky one.
I say, old boy, we've blooming got it.
That's pretty broad across the shoulders, Bull, that one.
That's,
I think you've got yourself a proper 20 pounder there.
yeah, that's a good 20, mate, isn't it?
Let's have a little look in there. Oh yeah, chunky monkey.
Lovely. It's good here.
Let's get out and have a look.
Indeed. On the old tree. Go on. Beautiful.
Right, the moment of truth. It looks a good fish in the water. How heavy does it feel? That's getting bigger.
Yeah, that's bigger than what we've had so far. It felt a good fish when I was playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the biggest of the trip.
Oh yeah.
Jace,
That's a chunky old fish.
we have Chunky Monkey. You couldn't just assist with the old net chap, could you?
Wasn't that my bite?
No.
I reckon that was my bite.
Do you know what? It might well be.
I think it was. But I'm not going to begrudge you a, what does it look like, upper 20?
I think it looks a touch bigger.
I think that might be it might be a tad bigger, mate.
So,
It's very
are you
wide.
saying that me leaving the swim for 10 minutes
That's
might
that's
have-
£32.
Might have cost me a £30.
Us.
There's
Okay,
no
all right,
iron
you.
team.
Look,
Here we go. Let's have a look.
Are you ready?
I'm predicting first ball cam 30, 32.8.
It's
Right.
definitely a 30-pounder.
I haven't seen it, so
I've just lifted it up, mate. That's quite a big fish.
you are not wrong, mate.
What are we saying, Jace? Give us the verdict.
You reckon
31.
31.
Is that 10? I can't quite see from this side.
it's 31.9.
Good enough. Well done. That man, I shall reach in. Good skill.
Boys, team effort on that one.
Indeed, mate.
Lovely.
Let's get spotting.
Yes.
Let's have a quick look at him first.
Rolling.
Still got the spotting glove
Still got. Would you like me to take that off?
Can do. I can go up there out the way.
Right, let me give it a little bit of water before I jump in here.
So, first ball cam 30.
First ball cam 30, so I'm going to jump in so that we can grab a steal off this, because it's a poignant little moment. We said we'd probably do it over this next couple of days, and that's quite early to do it, and I think there's a chance of another one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that.
He looks bigger from the side.
Yeah, that feels £30
Yeah.
plus. What are we saying,
There you
Ad?
go, you can come to these venues at Brasenose and have a chance of these just about every other bite. There's so many of them in here, and Gel's really getting in amongst them now, and with Jace's teamwork on the spot, I predict the action's just going to carry on this afternoon. So I've got some catching up to do, so I'm going to get a bit more bait out, I think. But well done. £31, 9 ounces.
Thank you, mate.
Cracker.
Thank you, Jace. Expert baiting.
What's happening, JC?
Well, we've got a bite, mate. We had 2 beeps. I put my porridge down. Expected it to rattle. And it didn't. Whether it was a little aborted take and then it just came back 30 seconds later with an absolute one-toner.
That's taking a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, feels a good fish, this.
Well, just to, I suppose, to update where we're at, we had that 30-pounder, and to be fair, we had a bit of carnage. I think one of the rods had been dragged and went over the other rods. That took 2 out, and then we had to resharpen and sort out the rig that we'd had the 30 on. So then we're back out, and then we probably...
Well, I was moving swims, wasn't I?
Yes, you were moving swims, so it was kind of...
Then the swim next door became available, and I don't think in 35 years of carp fishing I have ever bivvied up in the next swim waiting for a swim to become available. But I now have, and luckily it was the swim next door to this one, so I've half moved into that.
So we've got you one side and then Adam the other.
Yes.
So
but I still haven't managed to even cast a rod out because the 30-pounder came along. So I came back in, we redid everything here, put half a bucket of bait out, and what, half hour later, bang, another bite. It's about to wipe out.
see, on ball cam we like to share, Jace, don't we? We like to share. Not everything. I think probably one thing we should mention as well, Jace, we've tightened the 3 rods in, haven't we? We kind of started a little bit wider, and then when we sort of found...
Yes. Yep, left these away.
Okay. Right.
I'm in.
Yeah, it's kicking off. Hope the other one don't go, because...
I'm just looking at that. What's that pulled up?
I think it might have taken out that other rod. Yeah, yeah, we've tightened up, and as a result,
we're now getting double takes.
Yeah, and I think tighten the baiting as well. And this is the first time I think we've had a double take. So yeah, just.
I think.
Yeah, it's lifted that other line up.
I can see. Hold on, Joe.
Right, let me just drop this camera down and we'll get that other rod out of the way.
Okay.
Ball cam out. Right, okay. Back in the mix. Yeah, that was a take on the other rod. So Adam's dealt with that one. It did pick up the other rod. Oh, that's one in the net for Jace.
Well done, Jace.
Nice.
That's my one. That's it.
So Adam's managed to get his in.
Right, that can languish there, can't it?
Well, looks like Bully's rod's a fair game for whoever.
It's easy on these rods.
Team effort, it works, doesn't it? So
One down, one to go.
Mr. Cann?
Mine's hanging on.
Well, you did reckon it wasn't a bad one, didn't you?
Yeah, it felt good from the very first second. Just felt like it had a bit of weight. You know, it's not turbocharging around like the scamps can.
Well, bites are bites.
Yes.
And it does seem that
Well, it was another
introduction of
20,
bait has,
20 spods has sparked the swim back up.
yeah, probably people around the pond thinking, look at them pair of idiots, they're team spomming.
Yeah.
Which,
And then 5 minutes later, double take.
yeah, it kind of does work. You just, I think we mentioned that before. You just can't do that fishing on your own. So, but
Do you want me to take over the camera so that you can get a rod back out?
can do.
Sort of roll in the background while you're getting a rod out. I think
Yep.
It's a good idea.
The ball cam has been handed over to Mr. Reed.
Okay.
I feel like there's an air of expectation about this now.
What, like you've talked it up
Yeah.
and you hope it is what you think?
But you can get supercharged 24 pounders that feel like 35 pounders.
Exactly. A couple you've had today with those big sort of huge paddles.
Right, fire in the hole, gentlemen.
Okay.
Which rod went first?
Middle.
Right, I shall go for the gap then.
On the money?
Yep.
Good skills. See if we can get another one to go before this 27 pounders even in the net.
How did your 30 fight, by the way?
Like a 30.
Languishing,
Proper.
head nods.
Just felt like a good fish.
Well, I'll come that side. You can set that rod.
Well, as practices go, boys, you would settle for this on your first morning.
You would in the match, wouldn't you? Yeah. I think this is like fish 14, 15 with
14.
you just might need to lift just a sec. I'll come back this way. I don't know whether these fish are trained.
What, to go under the other lines?
Yeah.
I think they are.
And then you outmaneuver it, and before you know it, it's back where it was.
Might be easier if I just keep this rod up, you know, until...
Well, we've got Jerry slipping one back, and we've got Jason just slipping one in the net. And as predicted, it's a rather
It's a
big
bit of a
framed
chunk, I
mirror.
think.
Nice fish?
I think it is, mate.
But that looks nice, Joe.
Yes, lovely. That was the one you landed.
Yeah.
So,
Slipping back. And let's have a look at the other one because I think it's a little bit bigger.
oh, that's good fish. Yeah.
Have we got Ball Cam's second 30 pounder?
Yeah,
I think we probably have.
yeah,
I think we
that's-
have.
That's quite a big fish.
Yeah, it's a proper
Well done,
one.
Mr. Cann.
It's a proper one.
Shake
Rattle
and roll.
Let's if you just hold that.
Well, there's poor Jason's porridge. He still hasn't got to have any, and it's got quite a nice little skin on it now. I think you might have to give up on the porridge and go straight for the barbecue, Jace.
Mr. Cann.
Right, I got the 2 rods back out, just had double take. We let one smallish one go. We just popped this one in the net. It's a bit of a chunk on the quiet, so we will see if it's a B1 PB.
There we go. We've got the ball retaining device, a quick stick.
Well, they are literally getting bigger, Jace.
They are, mate.
That's the second 30 in the last 3 bites, with that small double and 2 30s. So we've still got a lot of the trip left. If this is the way it's going to go, if they're going to get any bigger, how big are they going to
I don't
get?
know, mate, but we got 2 nights.
We've got 2 nights. Fantastic. It's a lovely fish. I'm going to jump
It
out of the
is.
way, let you
It
get
is
some
a
stills
lovely
done, mate. Cracker. That's lovely. Lovely, mate.
Let's get her back.
Well, 3 o'clock update. We've had a bit of respite for probably an hour and a half, and we've got the old barbecue going, and it was much needed. Some nice burgers and chicken kebabs and stuff. I think we all needed to recharge and get some food inside of us. So, but yeah, it's been a great morning into afternoon phase. It's been great fun actually. At times it's been absolute carnage. And I'm kind of glad we've had a quiet hour or so just to chill out and enjoy this beautiful sunshine. So it was quite odd how this bite came about, because Adam was sat with us literally just finishing off our food. He's nipped off next door saying something about, oh, I've got a bite. And I understand he's landed a monster roach, which is slightly bizarre. And I'd mentioned to Jason, I think these rods needed to come in. It's been a bit stale out there. The fish are obviously up in the water. Bring them in, change the rigs, because we've just made a few tweaks on the rig front, which I'll go through later. And with one rod left in play, it's gone. So quite strange, really, when you've just cranked 2 in, and then the last rod you get a bite. So, but yeah, that's where we're up to at present. It is absolutely scorchio. There's not a lot of wind where we are, and it's a bit of a sun trap. So yeah, the bull is getting bronzed, and so is Genghis by the look of him as well. So yes, all is well. Ooh. Get in my net, you slimy simo. Go on the ball. Well, the hook conveniently popped out in the net, so no need to bring this one out on the bank. I'd say that's probably a low 20, I reckon. Nice chunky mirror. So it keeps the old fish tally going. I'll make that our 16th fish. Yeah, not bad going at all. Right, let's get this one back. We've got a bit of rig maintenance to do and a bit of a tidy up, so obviously that's all rods out of play now. Probably stick another 5 spoms out just to keep the bait going in, and yeah, like I mentioned, tidy up time. So yeah, nice way to end the afternoon session. Ball cam out. Right, okay, I think it's about time we had a proper look at the bait. We've been making various mentions of what we've been using, but we've not actually put a mix together to have a look at properly. So first things first, inside the new Trakker Pure Flow air dry system, I've got these beautiful little 8mm essential cells. So we've not been going mad with the boilie, probably like, I don't know, a couple of scoops worth. So that goes into the bucket, pop the lid back on that, so they're nicely just air drying, just out the way there. The other main ingredient, hemp. And as you can probably see here, this has taken a battering. I cooked this up at the weekend at the Carp in the Park show. I did 2 of these, which is approximately, it was 25 kilos, did 2 of these big buckets, and I'm literally on remnants here. Fortunately, Jason's got some more bait. So yeah, a couple of scoops of hemp. Next in goes pellet. So a couple of handfuls of mainline essential cell response pellet, and then we move over to the corn. Now I've been sort of making it into a gloopy corn with this essential cell stick mix liquid. Absolutely lovely. So been putting that in, giving it a good mix around, and it almost looks like sort of like a cream corn. And again, probably 2 scoops of that. Gonna have to get some more sweet corn as well. We're running really low. Yeah, 2 scoops of corn. Put the lid on the bucket like that, and then give it a mix. And that's probably giving half a bucket. So the majority of that bait, you know, you can buy pretty much anywhere, any tackle shop or animal wholesalers, you know, for the hemp and the pellet, etc. And the sweet corn obviously you can get from most supermarkets. Probably the most convenient way is in kilo frozen bags, and certainly by using hemp, corn and pellet. You know, people go on about the cost of bait. Well, hemp, corn and pellet, trust me, you know, if you want to use a lot of bait, and I'll make no bones about it, we will be using quite a bit of bait on this session. However, it doesn't have to be incredibly costly. It doesn't all have to be boilies. So yeah, seriously consider a mix like this. It's pretty simple, very active, and all you got to do is spom it out into the pond. Absolutely gorgeous, plenty of attraction, plenty of yellow. They seem to go mad for the hemp and corn in here. So yeah, game on. Ball cam out. Right, okay. I mentioned about spomming it out in the pond. Let's get a few out. So that's the mix I've just done. Yeah, the pellet's already taken on the juice from the hemp and the old stick mix. So yeah, probably going a spom, big spom, 2/3 full, and a 26 wraps. Hitting it nice and hard. Lovely, and in. I think 10 more of them, and that should do us. I've brought the rods in. It just feels like a bit of a stale period at the moment, so better just to get them in, get everything sorted for the late afternoon, early evening phase where it did kick off yesterday. And I was a betting man, there's going to be activity on this spot later on, so I think it's going to be a case of just keeping the bait going in. You obviously like the mix, and there is a lot of yellow in that. Yeah, keep the bait going in and wait for them to drop down later this evening. Right, let's keep this bait going in. Yeah, that's lovely. Go on, and down. Bosh. Lovely. Keeps an old man fit, this. Right, ball cam out. 8 to go. 8 to go. Adam Reid.
All cam's rolling.
Good evening. Well,
Good evening.
Mr. Cann is, I think he's even putting my rods out now.
He's a machine, that boy. He's a machine. He's been good today, hasn't he?
He has been good, yeah, he's been baiting up. No, to be fair, we have been taking it in turns, but it has... I hadn't planned for this at all in this session, but it's just, to be fair, it's kind of made sense because we've ended up filming what's been our match practice.
Yeah, no, it's been good to watch. It's been it's been nice to see you both in sort of full match flow as well. It's worked, hasn't it? It's been, well, you've made the most out of what's out there, I think, today. Looking at what's been caught around the lake, I think you two have definitely done the best of what we can see. So you're doing something right.
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think it's just been the, just hearing old Jace
Spodding out.
spoddling and whistling leads out behind us. Yeah, I think it's just been the intensity. I think because I think Jace is quite up for it this year, so he's you know, and you kind of spur each other on. I think when you fish as a pair, it definitely does work.
100%.
You sort of spur each other on, even when you're a bit tired. You probably just try a little bit harder. And I think with two of us, you know, we were baiting at the same time.
Yeah.
It's very hard to replicate that if you're fishing on your own. I know I mentioned it earlier on, but it's just been quite interesting. And it's that kind of work rate. I think on a venue like this, it definitely works. And it sort of moves things into your favour.
Yeah, and I think, like you say, when you're fishing for big, large numbers of fish like this, and predominantly the bait you're putting out is just bits, isn't it? It's sweet corn, hemp, little bits of trout pellet, and smashed up pellet.
It's the sort of stuff that like a roach could eat all the way up to the biggest carp that swims.
Exactly. So I think it's that sort of the amount of spodding you're doing. I think some people might watch it and think, Christ, that's a bit over the top, but it's nothing, is it? You put out 30 of them, you get a bite, and you sit there thinking, I'm going to have to put another 30 out, or I'm going to get another bite. Because they just come in and they will hoover you out, won't they? No,
they just muller everything, and it's, you know, when you're getting bites with literally the spod landing over the top of them, you think, well, you might have 100 fish underneath you.
Yeah.
And I think when it's the sort of kit that we're using, they want to eat it.
Well, I'll tell you who hasn't got 100 fish underneath them. That's me. It's been abysmal today. Just one cut. Well, actually, that roach has made it worth coming no matter what, but I'd rather have caught it on my centre pin and my 13-foot trotting rod. But joking aside from that, I've only really, if I'm honest, just got settled in here.
Yeah.
You know, Bivvy was up there was rods in here, and kit was up there. Now I've got all my kit in here. I've got a decent bed of bait over there, and it's 3 rods on a nice tight little spot. I feel like I'm fishing now.
Well, look at the change between today and yesterday. Yesterday you didn't even have a swim.
Yeah.
And it was bucketing down with rain, and now it's blazing hot. It's been all over the place.
Yeah.
So I think it just probably you actually moving into the swim and sort of committing.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that things will
pick up for me.
Will pick up, because literally it's like, you know, the area you're fishing, it's not far away.
No, not at all
from us at all. So
I think the only thing I'm doing slightly different is, and I'm probably going to change that. I just tried today was to, like I said to you, I was going to fish a little bit different as far as baiting goes. I was just going to do it little and often rather than putting a bucket out.
Yeah.
I just put 5 or 10 out, walked away, had a cup of tea, chat with you guys, walked back in the swim, did the same again, and it hasn't really worked. But I don't know whether that's just because they haven't pushed down this far or not. But I'm probably am going to up the baiting a little bit. One thing I don't want to do is the session to run out and think, I wish I had done.
No, I think you've probably answered your own question, because you said about committing with the bait. If you're saying that you don't think you can put too much in, then I don't think it's going to be a problem. So, you know, I think a bucket or 2 in. It doesn't take long to get to a bucket with a bit of corn, a bit of hemp, and a bit of pellet. So I'm intrigued what will happen, because I think this is the flat time.
Yeah.
We've been getting the odd bite there.
Yeah.
I think we just had a bite a minute ago, which Jace picked up, and I think the fish had shook the hook, but. They've been probably back out for an hour. Yeah, it's been pretty quiet, but I think the carnage is to come. I think definitely, you know, once the heat goes out of this sun, I think there's going to be action, and I'd like to think certainly yours, if not this evening, tonight, tomorrow morning, mate. Yeah, well, let's see. Let's have another cup of tea anyway, and recharge the batteries before the carnage commences again. Yeah, indeed. Good stuff. Nice one, mate. Ball cam out. Well, we were just talking about Mr. Cann. Good evening, Jace.
Evening, mate.
That sun's just started to drop off a little bit.
Yeah, It's been hot.
Bosh. How are we doing?
Well, we've had a bit of a lull, haven't we?
Yeah.
We tried the zigs. I think the fish have popped right up. Maybe foot and a half down, something like that. They're not cruising. There's no backs. So they're kind of, they're not a foot under, but they're not prepared to go down in 10 foot right now. But saying that, we just had a bite.
Yeah, what happened on that one?
Big drop back, rod tip slammed over. And we got done on the bite and he dumped the lead.
Yeah, okay.
If it happens again, we'll assess a rig thing. But sometimes it just happens when you get so many bites. You're not gonna have them all how you want it.
So for now, just keep the bait going in, yeah.
Just gonna keep topping up. I think the hot spell's gonna come just as this heat goes out of the day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that as well.
If I can get half a bucket in before that happens, we might be able to prolong, the bite spell. But I think if we try and react to it when they come on us, we're playing catch up because we're playing netting, recasting, spodding. I'd like to try and get ahead of the fish at the minute.
Yeah.
And get 3/4 of a bucket out there, and then it's literally as one rod goes, you only need 5 or 6 to top it up. Then the second rod goes 5 or 6 to top it up.
And again, it's much more efficient for us to work that as a pair. And I think
Yeah.
I know we hadn't planned it to do this at all,
No,
had we?
not at all. No.
And that is genuine, because I was just talking to Adam about it. We did not plan this, and I think we probably expected to be in 3 swims and
Just each spodding an individual area, trying different things. But what threw us is that there was nowhere to fish. We turned up and there was one swim.
yeah.
So, as I said, yesterday, I've never bivvied up behind anyone. The fact that it was you made it okay.
Oh, thanks, mate.
And I just thought, well, the best thing to do is let's treat it like a match, and we'll fish your swim and spot it like a match.
Well, and
just see what happens.
It kind of just happened, didn't it? We just sort of slotted in and just did what we normally do, without really thinking about it too much. So.
No. All right, it's not ideal, but when you've driven 4 hours and I've driven 3 hours to practice for a match, you might as well fish it under similar match conditions.
Well, indeed. And to be fair, it's actually allowed me to do a bit of camera work while you bait up. So it's absolute genius, really.
Yeah, well, I've worked on my tan.
You and me both.
But I'm looking forward to cheeseburgers, and I might just treat you to a cloudy cider later.
Oh, yes. On that note, go on, get spotting.
I am the spod, fly true. Oh, that's a bite, middle rod. What I might do is work out how many yards I've reeled in over this session. Well, 40 spods is roughly 6 or 7 kilos of bait, depending on what you're spodding out. It'll be slightly less, I think, with a bit of light pellet involved, but it's about being the spod. Oh yes, middle rod. That's a bite all day long.
Good evening.
Hey mate.
Well, I can see you and me there, and I can see you and me there. Double trouble, you might say.
All sorts of permutations there, mate.
Bit like I was bombing earlier.
You don't see that often on here, do you?
No, it was a little bit odd, and I'm sure our fellow anglers round the pond are thinking, what are those pair of morons up to now? It was good fun though.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway, old chap.
Well, I made you a coffee.
Oh, I say that's got a little,
Oh yes.
a wee nip of something in it. That is
Yes.
lovely. Probably well deserved.
Well, it's been a hard day, mate. It's been a tough physical day.
Yes.
Lots of bites. I think we are up to 20 bites.
Yeah, I guess it must be. Is it 16 or 17 fish landed? We should have kept a record, and I know it does seem a bit slack and a bit flippant, but
When you're in the mix and doing it, it's the last thing you
yeah.
think of. I think 4 have dropped off. I've had 2 drop off.
Yeah.
No, 3. I've had 3 fall off, and you've had one fall off, I think.
Yeah, but it's been noticeable this afternoon.
It's not been on, has it?
You know that pressure's risen again from yesterday. Which yesterday evening, well, we wouldn't have been sat here like this. Literally, we're just shielding from the wind and rain. It's a huge change, which I'm not complaining because today's been glorious. But it's been muggy and uncomfortable at times.
But the action has been probably 60% less.
Yes. Yeah.
You hit those big low pressures, the winds, the rain.
Yeah.
The fish drop. They will eat as much as you can put out, whether it's particle, boilie, doesn't matter.
Yeah, and it seemed as though they did. Yeah.
And because we'd got the spate rocking, the spot rocking, you can sometimes just prolong that little feeding spell. If you just keep trickling it in, you don't have to go mad. 5-6 pods, and you can just keep the interest in the spot, even though the pressure's changing and they don't really want to be in 10 foot, and the pressure's trying to creep them up, into the upper layers. But if you keep just topping it up, you can keep dragging them down.
And they know that food's there and where to go to get that grub.
Yeah. Proved by, we had a couple of double takes.
Yes.
Whilst we were spodding, bang, double takes, and you're just pulling them back down again.
Well, I think I briefly mentioned earlier on that we have actually pulled the rods in. We perhaps started maybe a little bit wider, and then it did seem that we were getting bites on all 3 rods, but I think it was when we concentrated the bait.
Well, the middle rod kept going.
Yeah, the middle rod was the hot one.
And then we'd recast the middle, and the outers would not go, and the middle would go again within 5 minutes. So you just literally, you narrow your V, bring it in. And to anyone who was unfamiliar with fishing 3 rods in such a big lake, almost on the same spot, it would look ridiculous.
Yeah.
But there's method to the madness.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And I know we've mentioned it before. It's the style of angling that we have both done before, but perhaps haven't done that much in recent years.
No, it's where you move on and progress with your own fishing, isn't it?
Yeah, and you do different things. Yeah. And
at the minute, I'm fishing a very small, little, intricate lake, and I'm creeping around with a 1 3/4 pound rod and a float and a bag of worms.
Yeah.
It doesn't lead to fishing at over 100, 100 yards, and continually spodding for 2 days.
No.
So you've just got to make yourself adapt to the situation you put yourself in.
No, totally, and that's why we're up here. Bit of ball cam and a bit of practice. So I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been hard work. My shoulders are killing.
Yeah, it is. Well, it is hard, mate.
What was that combined team age again? Was it 80, 85?
Nothing of the sort.
Oh, right. Cheers.
Grandpa.
Hip pa.
But one thing I get spoken about a lot is how much bait is enough bait and how much bait is too much bait. People would possibly walk past this swim or on some of our competition days and they'd look at the bait and they'd probably be shocked.
Yeah, I agree. And also I think the other conundrum as well, and we're all faced with it, when do you put it in? Do you pile it all in? Or do you pile some in and then top up? And there's no recipe, is there?
No, there's no equation. It's purely, if you're slightly on the newer end of carp fishing scale, it's trial and error. Do something and it either works for you or it doesn't.
But do you not think with this style of this style of fishing, I think with little and often, as a starting point, you can't really go wrong.
You can't go wrong. Because if you get a bite over 6 spods, you put another 6 spods in and try and get another bite.
Yeah.
You've not wasted bait if it doesn't work. We'll come on to what baits, because you can keep the cost of your bait down by just using sensible bait choices.
Well, I mentioned this earlier on. Sweet corn.
Cheap as chips.
Pellets.
Cheap as chips.
Adam Reed.
Cheap as chips.
Oh, cheap as chips as well.
You can put
Yeah.
10 kilos of spod mix together for less than 2 or 3 kilos of boilies.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you can either come somewhere and put £30 worth of boilies in, which is 10 minutes with a catapult, or you can spend the same 30 quid
Yeah.
and come with a big bucket of particles and fish all day. It's
Yeah,
not
and-
it's not expensive to
And
fish
judge
how we're
your
fishing.
baiting on how you're doing. Maybe
Yeah.
step up your baiting. Maybe go
Yeah,
to
starve them for a bit.
yeah.
Get 2 bites off the spot, let them come in, wipe the spot out, get 2 or 3 bites, then go back out, make them search for the bait. There's all sorts of little tricks you can
Yeah.
try. But if you've only got 3 kilos of boilies, you're absolutely nailed to one type of fishing.
Yep.
And on some places, that will be king. But when you've got so many big, fat, hungry fish in here,
Yeah, it's
you
a
want
fair
to try and
point.
spread them out and make them eat smaller, particle style baits, and just hold them in the swim for longer.
Yep. No, it's an interesting point. Obviously, another thing that we get asked as well, just with the sessions that we're doing, what sort of rigs are best. And obviously, in this particular session, we have tied up relatively short rigs, which would normally be my go-to tactic for fishing over smaller items, where you're trying to concentrate, the feeding activity over a tighter area. And personally, I think a bigger hook, even with a smaller hook bait and a short rig,
Yeah.
has always served me
Well,
really well.
The thoughts on it have kind of turned on its head over the years of development.
Yeah.
Everything should be balanced. Size of bait to hook size to hook length to lead. It's all kind of, you can almost do exactly what you want with it now, irrespective of sizes and mismatches, because it will all suit a situation that's gone on. Now this morning, before we'd had the fish come in and muller the spot,
Yeah.
the leads were going down slightly soft. And if you come off the spot and you just do a slightly, a miscast, because everyone does a miscast every
Yeah.
now and then, 5 foot to the left or right of our spot right now, the leads are going down, and
Yeah.
and even on mono at 106 or 10 yards, if you practice, you can feel it. If you get it right on the spot down the edge of that tree where we've been putting the spawns, they're going down now after just a day's worth of feeding on the spot.
Yeah.
And they're going down, and you're feeling it, and it's not going down with a crack, but it's going down and it's going bump.
Well, it's that kind of that silty, dusty covering, which
That's
I know
gone.
Hughesy's gone on about, and his underwater
Yeah.
diving. Literally, it's just like it's like a layer of dust.
Yep, that's now gone.
That's gone,
That's been
yeah.
polished.
Yeah.
And you can achieve that in a day,
Yeah.
which means you start off with a rig that just allows the lead to go into that, we'll call it fine silt on the top of something like a harder bit of clay or gravel or whatever it is. And then as the day or session progresses, the fish will come in and the surface they're feeding on will be cleaner and harder. You need to think about that. And you need to then either change your rigs accordingly.
Yeah.
You could now fish lovely little inline leads out there on that spot if you wanted to get a slightly different, rig style or,
Yep.
or different presentation. But we're trying to get as many bites off of there as we possibly can with a simple, clean and effective style of fishing.
Yeah.
We don't want to be swapping and changing. Just literally, as the spot gets harder and cleaner,
Yep.
shorten the hook links.
Yeah, no,
is a good start.
agreed. I think probably what would be good, we probably won't do it tonight, but if we can actually show the rig and the components in more
Yeah.
detail tomorrow, because probably one factor, and I know obviously we're clipping up at 26 wraps and hitting the clip hard, because we're not putting any foam on the hook
No,
or
no,
anything,
nothing.
or any little PVA bag or foam nugget or anything. Hit it hard, throw it out, and with those anti-tangle sleeves, I am convinced with a short rig, if you hit the clip hard
It
with a
goes-
buoyant hook
goes
bait,
fine
it
every
will
time.
not tangle.
One thing I've always done, I've seen lots of people not do it, and I don't cringe, but I just think I couldn't do that. You can hit the clip, and then I see loads of people, they just drop the rod tip as if they're just going to put it straight in the rest.
Mhm.
If you think you've hit the clip, everything slightly gets catapulted, we'll say forwards
Mhm.
or straight. You then need to just ease that lead down, if you know what I mean. And I sometimes hit the clip, just come back maybe 15 degrees on the rod, and then just
Yep.
almost drop it into place.
Yep.
And you're just laying the rig out nicely, and you're feeling for a drop. If you hit the clip, that's not job done. You can't just hit the clip and then let the line go slack.
No.
Because it then
no.
just goes, and that's when you can also get tangles.
Yep.
So for a foolproof, hit the clip, just dink the rod back literally 15 degrees, and almost place the lead
Yeah.
on the deck.
And lay it out.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to work so far.
Yeah. It'll work again tonight.
Yeah.
There'll be loads of bites tonight.
Yeah. I'm confident. You? Cheers, mate. It's good to talk.
It is.
Very interesting. But
And
we'll come back to rigs tomorrow. Like I said, we'll
yeah,
have,
we'll do a little.
we'll have a
thing.
look at the rig. It is genuinely, I think it's very simplistic. Certainly for me, it's always the key has been deliver a rig that doesn't tangle,
No.
is sharp, and it has something on the end that those fish will
Yeah.
pick up, whether it be by default when you're fishing over a tight
Yeah.
baited spot or a hook bait which they
But
just
the
can't resist.
The beauty with this rig is you can make up little mesh PVA bags.
Yeah.
And you can almost fish it as a single, or what I term as a single is anything that is cast out that is not fished over a baited spot.
Yes.
I don't class a mesh bag as a baited spot. It's just a single with a bit of pellet or
Yeah,
chopped
yeah,
up
of course,
boilie,
yeah.
or even if you just use it to protect the hook point if you're going down
Mhm.
through pads or weed or something like that. This little rig that we've been having them on,
Bird still.
lead clipped and little mesh bags.
Yep.
Oh, I've fished it for 15, 20 years. I couldn't tell you how many fish it's caught me.
No, it's good. Shall we eat?
I think we should raise your first bull cam 30, followed shortly, 20 minutes later or so, by your second bull cam
Well, you had,
30.
you had the second one.
Yes, but 2 in a day is quite a good thing.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I said before, matters not to me who catches them.
No.
So,
And I got a funny feeling that fish that fell off after the 32 pounder, that was a big fish as well.
no, maybe. It's always big ones that get away. Bull cam out. Good evening, Mr. C.
Good evening. Well, let's see what the magic number says, mate.
Okay, well let's just get up to speed here. We both had a take.
Yeah.
You actually fishing from your designated swim.
Yes.
So you've had a bite,
Yes.
then I've had a bite.
Yes.
However, yours is considerably bigger.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That about sums it up, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what we've got.
What are we saying? 140? 140.
I'm thinking 31, 32-ish.
Okay.
Oh, it's a bull cam record, mate.
Yeah, it bloody would be, wouldn't it? The light's bouncing off that a bit, but I'm getting what? That's better. That's
It's
just a
bang
nut's
on
over 33.
Yeah.
Very good.
How nice.
New record holder. Poached off the back of sorry, our spot.
Oh, I do think I was the previous record holder as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you were. Good God. You're like a megalomaniac dictator. Very good.
Them carp don't like me, mate. They're not safe anywhere I go.
Well, they might be said for small animals and
Sticky buns.
the ladies.
Well,
Right,
we'll just pop this in the net for a minute. We'll get sorted.
Yep.
And then we shall deal with this lovely creature.
Excellent.
Well, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I've got everyone out of bed and we've had a double take. This was my prize. Still a bit frisky. £33 of B1 pristine carp. I'm rather chuffed with this one. Mega scrap, long range, solid bag, just off the baited spot. And that could be another bite. It's all kicking off.
We're going. Well, there we go. Not quite the 30-pounder that Jace had, but it's another carp to keep the tally going. I reckon probably 17, 18 pounds this one. Yeah, we've got a bit of swim carnage to deal with now. I think Jace has got rods on the side. I've got one in play, so I'm going to get these sorted out. Obviously, slot this fish back. Probably get a rod or two out for the remainder of darkness, and then get back on it first thing in the morning when it's when it's light enough to see what's going on, and get 3 rods back out tight and keep the bait going in. So for tonight, it's ball cam out. Good night. Morning. Ball cam 5:30 AM update. Probably just see behind me here. Got one in the net. It was a relatively quiet night after Jason had that chunky old 30-pounder, and then I had a fish, and then I got a couple of rods back out. And I had that one there probably about half an hour ago. So I've got all 3 rods back out. All 3 on the fake corn, just mixed up the colours a little bit. Then got 2 on double pink and 1 on the double yellow, and probably put 20 spoms of the hemp corn pellet mix out over the top. So well, that's it for now. Ball cam out. Mr. Cann's up and about. Oh, steady on there, George. Yeah, this one's had, I don't know if his name is George, but it is now. This one's had a few minutes recuperation time. What weight we're going to give on that then, Chancellor Cann?
18 and a half.
Yeah, I reckon you're spot on there. So, another one goes on the fish tally. And as I mentioned, the rods are back out. And Mr. Cann has put the kettle on, so the first coffee of the day will soon be underway, which I think is probably required. So I think it's time to slip this one back and get on the coffee. What says you, JC?
Bull cam out.
Bull cam out. Couldn't say it better myself. Adam Reed.
I've caught one. Well, it's been very, very slow for me down here, as you know. And all the action seems to be a little bit further up in the middle section of the lake. But this lovely common paid me a visit about half hour ago or so. And yeah, it's got me up and going again. I've topped the spot back up. It's a totally different day today. The wind is actually pushing down more towards my corner, so I've redone the rods, got some more bait out, and hopefully I can catch a few more like this, stay involved in the action with the other boys. But yeah, nice to get another bite, and hopefully it's a sign of a few more to come today. Lovely. Well, we'll have one last look at him. Lovely Brasenose One common. I'll have to give someone else a scrap. Whoops. Easy fella.
Morning. Quick update. You'll see Jason is baiting up behind me. We've just lost a fish which unfortunately took out one, actually no, come to think of it, took out both of the rods, and then the fish come off, so we ended up with 3 trash rods. We've redone them all again, back out on the spot, and Jason's getting busy with getting some bait back out there. I'm going to go and join him now. I think the idea being spomming at the same time, get the bait through the water column as quickly as possible, rather than one person doing it, say putting 20 spoms out. If you each do 10 at the same time, there's less time when that bait is actually falling through the water. We haven't got zigs out, so we're fishing on the deck, so really we want to get the bait down as quickly as possible and give the fish less time to be able to take bait mid-water, if that's what they're doing. So we're trying to get them down on the bottom and influence a bite on the bottom, and hopefully we will. So anyway, that's ball cam out for the minute. I'm going to go and join old JC and get some bait out. See you in a minute. Mr. Reed's doing a bit of a mix-up.
Yep, get going. A tag team effort over in the reed swim. Get that 3/4 of a bucket of gear out there, see if we can force things to happen. We've seen quite a few fish down in that corner now, but they're just to my right, so we're going to sort of give them a reason to go from there to there with the assistance of Mr. Cann and Mr. Bridger.
Voluntary as well.
What's in the mix, Jace? Any changes? Because we're running a bit low on some bait, aren't we?
Basically what I've done, I've gone back to the car, I've got the reserve bucket of particle. It's basically what they call stinky maize, smelly maize. Lovely little trick. You just soak up your maize, cook it as normal, and you just leave it in a bucket, lid on. You can leave it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and it just ferments in its own juices, and it stinks rancid. this particular...
Let's have a little look a minute, hold on. So there's all seeds and bits and pieces, and obviously we've just... That looks awesome.
Yeah.
We've added it into basically what bait we've got left.
Yeah. This particular batch I've brewed for 6 months. Got it to peak where I wanted it, and then I just bag it up and freeze it. So let's get it out.
Oh, hell yeah. At least you caught one on your rod.
I think you caught yours on my cast, so
No.
I bet.
Mate, and I'm ever so glad that was the case, that I did deliver the rig.
And theoretically, Jason is in my swim.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, mate.
I can't believe you two have been asleep. I've been there slaving away, putting bait in.
Don't worry, we've got a nice cutting of you
The only thing
dribbling.
you've been
I
slaving
bet
away-
you have.
Asleep in your chair.
The only thing you've been slaving away in is your comfy chair.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be honest then. What happened? I was a bit tired actually, and little morning siesta. These boys were talking rigs. It's just boring the life out of me, to be honest. So I had a little sleep, and I woke up and they'd gone, and I was just there asleep in the chair on my own. And then I got a bite, so that kind of brings us up to date. There's not been a great deal going on.
No, it's been a slow morning.
It has been a slow morning. Yeah. Right, that's cool. I know what you lot class as small.
Well,
Class a roach as small. That's not small. Go on then. That's a lovely one. Might just be knocking on the door of £20, that one. It was certainly a good fight. And I think it was about time we needed a bite. It's probably been a good few hours where nothing's been going on, so switched one of the rods back to double yellow corn. So that might be significant, so definitely be worth changing one of the other rods back onto the yellow off of the pink or purple corn or whatever it is. So yeah, lovely. Right, it's getting back. Ah, Mr. Cann, obviously your swim's gone quiet, so you've decided to steal one of mine. How are you doing?
Well, having just made you the best bacon sandwich you've had this week, you were still eating and our middle rod went, and I thought it was just rewards for doing the cooking.
Absolute poacher is what you are. Anything good you want for yourself.
as punishment, he can make another bacon sandwich the minute that fish has hit the net cord.
Well, we did talk about making another one, but no.
Yeah, but then the rod ripped off and it needed attention.
In fact, you tried to trip me up when I got up to come and get it. It was something else.
No, you...
Anyway, at least you'll be used to my rods for when we use them in the match.
Yes, well that's the whole idea, because yours are slightly different to my FMJs, but you know, with this little practice session, I'm now quite happy to use yours.
Yes, and the new reels, of course, which
Are nice.
yeah, which I've not used before either. So
No, they're nice.
I've used them.
here's Mr. Reed.
How are we doing?
I think this might be the smallest fish of the session.
Well, normally they're 30-pounders when you pick up my rod. There's a recurring theme here.
Here's the net there, mate.
You're not going to swim out for me?
I was going to. I like
Oh, you've not got your waders on?
I like watching your outfit from behind.
Look at that.
This
13-foot beast of a rod bending.
This is smaller than my...
Well,
This is smaller.
no, not really.
This is smaller than my 12-pounder that I had
Well,
in
it's
the
a
middle
very
of the night.
pretty one, nonetheless. And it's on the pink days that you said was rubbish.
And the lead's not come off.
Nope.
That's an odd one. Well, it's another fish. What says you, JC?
It could be the difference between fourth going into third in the semi-final.
Well, I can't argue with that. Let's get it sorted out, JC. Ball cam out. Right, okay, good afternoon. It's that time of the session where we need to do a little section on rigs. We often get asked about, in particular, the rigs and baits that we've been using, so I feel it's only right to have a little section on it and go through what we've been using. Jace has got something quite funky to show us
Funky
shortly. This is a rig that we have led up to that has brought us to this point, which we're going to have a little dabble with later on in the session, but I'll let Jace explain that in a moment. In terms of the rig that we have been using, or should I say on the 3 rods that we've got out in my swim that we are using, I've mentioned the double corn rig, and there it is there. It's probably easy if I just bring that in. Camera should pick it up. Yeah, that's better. So curve, shank, pattern hook, micro hook bead, and then one of the little micro Thinking Anglers micro ring swivels, double corn attached back to back on a bit of floss, and then blobbed into position at the back of the second corn, so that holds that in position. Then we've got a little shrink tube kicker just to extend the curve of the hook, and we've been fishing these rigs quite short. That's probably 3.5 to 4 inches. We initially started off with some putty. We've actually swapped to a sinker because the putty was coming off. So and then we go down to anti-tangle sleeve from Corda. That really helps just to kick the rig out. So when you're blasting rigs out in excess of 100 yards, which we have been here, as long as you hit the clip hard and then feel the lead down, these anti-tangle sleeves really help. So and in this instance we're kind of using a waxy uncoated braid, which just gives a little bit more movement, and I think it's helped in certainly getting better hook holds with what essentially is a short anti-tangle rig. And then just moving down, we've got a lead clip, 4-ounce Corda lead, distance swivel lead to help us get out there, and then, as I've used many a time before, about 1 foot of dark matter rig tubing, and that is it. I've actually got rid of the flying back lead because when the wind picked up earlier on, I was struggling to hit the mark. So literally we've just skimmed this down to what you see here. So that's, Jace, that's done in excess of 20 bites now, hasn't it? In a similar form. We've kind of tweaked the hook size a little bit. We've been experimenting with different colour corns. We've been gooing up the corn with the spicy squid goo. That seems to have certainly brought quicker bites. So that's where we're at now.
Yep.
However, Mr. Cann has a theory, so I'm going to hand over to him because it's quite an interesting theory as well. So over to you, Jace.
It's kind of a double-edged one, really, because that rig I call kind of a heavy rig.
Yeah.
The hook bait is heavy.
Yeah.
As in, it's buoyant, but it isn't popped up.
Yep.
So whether you want to term it, I wouldn't even call it critically balanced.
Well, it literally
it's
just
cocked.
It sits like this, doesn't it?
Yes.
The hook lays on the bottom, and then you've got your 2 corns literally just sat at whatever point on the shank.
Yep. And if it does get sucked in and blown out, it's still fishing.
Yes.
Because it can reset itself.
Yep.
That's fine when they've come in on us in big numbers. You're getting single, double, sometimes even triple takes, or we've taken one out of the net, unhooked it in the clip, bang, same rig back out. Sometimes that rig has been going in preference to ones that are already back out in the swim.
Yep.
Sometimes, and there's 2 different scenarios where it occurs, the shorter hook link, which normally works for you, can work against you.
Mm-hmm.
If the action has slowed down like it has,
definitely in this sort of the second half of the 48 hours, it has slowed. The whole lake has slowed without a doubt.
The pressure's gone up, then it's dropped, then it's gone up, and it's unsettled them. So they're not coming in the big numbers, wiping out your baited area, 2 rigs going, bang, 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 competing for it, right down hard, short rigs, 2 bits of corn, bang, get your bite every time.
Yep.
If they're being funny, you then need to sit back and go, how can I put the odds back into my favour?
Yep.
And when I mean by funny...
They're still visiting the spot though, aren't they?
Yeah, because in the last, say, hour, we've had 2 or 3 visits to the spot and only had 1 bite.
Yeah.
So which means 2 things are either happening. There's either not enough fish coming in for the amount of bait that we've put out in the swim.
Actually, just to clarify, when you said we've had visitors, because we've had the odd show, but this is by means of the type of oily pellet that you've been putting in the mix, which has been visibly showing flat spots when the wind is right.
Absolutely.
So that's been the sign that we've seen to tell you those fish have been on that spot feeding.
And if we don't get a bite, they've come in and 2 things have happened. Either not enough fish have come in the swim and fed hard to actually target that hook bait.
Mm-hmm.
For that to work, they have to be absolutely not cherry picking,
Yeah.
but they're targeting that bit of bait.
Yeah, it's a micro zone rig, isn't it? Because of just the size and the dynamic and how much it will actually move.
Yes.
If it doesn't go for that, it ain't getting hooked.
Absolutely.
Right, okay.
So what we're now going to try, and it's more through curiosity and a bit of nostalgia, because I did it for 15 years.
God, you're showing your age again now, Jason.
Oh, no. And it was just...
Oh, yes.
I couldn't tell you how many carp I've caught on this style of rig. I wouldn't even like to say, but it is an absolute shed load. What you do is basically you get rid of one of the pieces of corn because they're just not quite buoyant enough. And what you do is you put in a bit of really high density, highly buoyant foam, and you still put one bit of corn on top, and you literally triple the length of the hook link.
Yep, so the hook link's a lot longer.
So basically what it's going to do is, instead of now sitting cocked, it's going to sit almost, say, an inch popped up.
Yep, so what we're saying, it sits proud.
Yes.
Right, okay.
It's no longer sat flat.
Yep.
It's actually off the bottom.
Okay.
And the hook is off the bottom.
So just explain to me in layman's terms.
It's basically a pop-up.
It's a pop-up rig, so what you're saying is the hooking potential with that rig
Changes.
outweighs what we've got here with the double corn rig, which is on the bottom.
When the feeding situation changes.
Yep.
When it's how we've had it, that's my go-to.
But presumably both rigs would work equally as well in that scenario.
Yeah, you say that. When they're coming in big numbers,
Yep.
I think you want a bait as close to the bottom with what they are troughing.
So one of these.
One of those.
Yep. Okay.
When they're coming in and they're either being finicky or a bit picky, or less fish are entering the swim,
Yep.
I then go to a slightly different version, and I'll do an 18-inch, 12 to 18-inch version, exactly the same.
Yep. So that's even longer, that one.
Yep, even longer, and it sits like that.
Yep.
As a pop-up.
So if you actually drop that in the edge, what does it do? Does it literally just parachute slowly down?
I put the foam underneath, and you just trim, squeeze the foam.
Yep.
So it takes on a bit of water, gets the air out, and you want it literally so you can count to 10 as an 18-inch hook link.
Yep.
Literally flutters to the bottom.
Yep.
Yes, it's a bit tricky. Yes, it's braid. You've got to hit the clip hard, feel it down. If need be, just nick a bit of dissolvable foam around the corn.
Yep.
So it parachutes it down, separation as it hits the lake
Yep.
bed, pops up, foam melts, and then it just wafts down.
Yeah.
But what it gives your hook bait the option of, your hook bait can now travel.
Yes.
It can now travel in a mathematical formation.
Yeah.
Whereas...
there's more rope,
Yes.
presumably. So.
But because the hook bait now is almost completely neutral buoyancy,
Yep.
where these are slightly overweighted, if a fish targets a bit of corn 3 or 4 inches away, because this bit is so neutrally buoyant, that will fly in as well.
Yeah.
So what it does is, instead of your kind of target area being a thumbnail,
Yep.
a fish potentially now has a target area of, let's say, a big apple.
Yeah.
Purely because they're greedy, they're feeding on microparticles, they come in and they go, and if the hook bait's here, the mechanics of the rig and the buoyancy change allows the hook bait here that hasn't actually been targeted to follow what has been targeted into the mouth.
That makes absolute sense, and I know this was something that a couple of years ago
We kept really quiet.
Indeed, we did keep it really quiet on Raisby Ron, and
the final.
It worked brilliantly in practice, and not so well in the final because we
just didn't.
we didn't have any fish in front of us.
Well, we had one.
True.
And we caught it.
Yes, true.
So all it does is it gives you an option to find out exactly what's going on in your swim.
Yep. And presumably you would, in terms of bait, small item, spod mix,
Yeah.
baited tight, and try and get the rigs as
tight
as you can onto that bait.
Yeah. Same principle,
Yep.
same tactic. The tighter you cast, the tighter you spod, the more bites you'll get.
No, very good.
So I reckon we'll put these out and we'll see if it actually comes up
Well, we're
with
going to
any
put
proof.
all three out.
I think so.
Well, we've got nothing to lose, have we? So
No.
should we crank them in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Out with the crude and in with the rude. Don't know where that came from.
Wind them in.
Wind them in. Come on then. Ball cam out. Rig talk. Ball cam out. Well, JC suggests a new rig. Then in they come. Let's put on the sneaky rigs. Alright, let's get this mark. Okay. That'll do. Plenty of birds still diving on the spot. Well, loads of birds. Looks like there's a few coots. And other feathered creatures. They're filling their boots, to be fair. I think it's made us both think there just aren't that many carp on the spot. So I think if there were, we'd be getting more bites. I think it's just the occasional smaller pack of fish coming through. So, cue the sneaky rigs. We've even tried sort of a more blatant white wafter, but to no avail. Right, Sneaky Cann. Here's another rod for the rig factory.
Yeah.
Right, let's have a look at this rig. Not that I don't trust my my good mate, but right. Is that in shot, Jace? Yeah. Right, let's just give that a little squeeze because that's been out on the side for a little bit. So let's just drop that down. Yep, that's beautiful. Even the little ones are having a peck at it. It's black with them round my feet, Jace. Right, let's get it whizzed out there. Yep, we're all clipped up, ready to go. That wind has dropped down a bit. Let's dispatch a Cann sneaky rig right there. That'll be the left-hander then. Beautiful. How's your line twist? I know, I shouldn't do that, but I do. Very naughty. Right, that's that down. Easy tiger. Alright, just tighten that up and let that line come round. Sneaky rig 1 dispatch, JC.
Treatment. Quick squeeze.
Quick squeeze, we like a quick squeeze. A slightly longer drop on this. Come on. Need to get this out in play. Right, third and final. I want to get this one right down the middle. So we've got a left-hand rod, got a right-hand rod. Straight down the middle in that gap, that's what we want. Yep, that is beautiful. just stopped that a little bit early just to make sure it properly hit the clip. Didn't want one of those sort of landings where it perhaps doesn't hit the clip hard enough, so just kind of stopped it to make sure. And literally I've only lost a few feet, so that is still game on. So 3 knee rigs out. I think it's probably time just to put a few spombs of bait over the top, just to freshen things up. So excellent, let's see what happens. It's always nice to try something else out. Right, game on. There we go, all the pivot arms are ready and waiting. Yeah, marvellous. Okay, let's resume battle. Probably less than 5 minutes. So I think Mr. Cann's hunch well, has certainly been proved to be the case. And this does not feel a bad fish, and it is proper on a kite heading towards Adam. And I'll be amazed if this hasn't picked him up, because that is proper on the kite.
So what's going on, Jack?
Well, dispatched your sneaky rigs. All 3 back out.
Well, I just went to put the kettle on. I've only been gone 4 minutes.
Yeah, well, I kind of put them all out, clipped the bobbins on, and sort of walked up to the top of the swim. Had a little drink of water, because it's quite warm now, and I've heard a single beep on the right-hand rod, and it's just slammed off, absolutely beasted off. And whatever I'm attached to is kiting right, heavy towards Adam Reed, and it don't like having a hook in it.
Well, that's because it didn't expect to have a hook
No.
in it.
No.
They've changed how they've come in and how
Yeah.
how they're feeding on it.
Well, I think that is, you know, we covered the change of rig and the reason why, and it's certainly not, by no means is this any kind of reason to gloat or a told you so, but it's just, you know, this is the thing with carp fishing. It keeps an idle mind thinking at times of how you can do things better, and if things change, then as an angler, you know, and I'll use the word angler because, you know, we're not fishermen. Anglers think about what they're doing and how they can make things better. So, you know, and Jason come up with a plan. And what have you got to lose? Put it on. Let me give it a go. It's not a bad one, this, mate. Not a bad one. Yeah, this one's certainly pulling a bit.
I would go super easy in close,
Yeah.
just until we inspect the first hook hold,
Yes.
because that will tell us everything we need to know.
Yeah. If
Don't forget, I dropped this hook size.
Yes. Yeah. This one's going under. We can go under. Oh yes. Oh, I can see it. It's just on the outside.
Well, what that actually means
It can mean many things.
is that that bait was taken
And lovely.
rolling.
Okay, as anticipated, yeah, it's a nice fish. I want to get this one weighed up because this to me looks like a good mid to upper 20. Just one option, and something that, to be fair, the whole Trakker team, something that we do like to do, especially with bigger fish where you can visibly see that the hook is still in the fish, is to actually transfer the fish in the net into the retention sling and then bring them out of the water. Now you might have noticed us sometimes just lifting the fish out of the net. With smaller fish it's fine, especially if you can see that the hook is out, because it's not going to catch and it's not going to tear the fish's mouth. So in this instance I've had a look, the hook is still in there, albeit nicked on the side. The last thing I want to do is cause the fish any undue damage, so why not just lift them into the retention sling like so, which will then take any pressure off the landing net. We've already zeroed up the sling, so it kind of kills two birds with one stone. You're getting your sling wet and you get to carry the fish in, not causing any undue damage. Right, there's hold him up. Another clean B1 mirror. They're certainly fighting fit at the moment, and after a few hours of them perhaps being a little bit tricky, that long balanced rig seems to have sorted them out pretty quickly. That is not coincidence that we've had a bite that quickly. So, Mr. Cann, you were right. Told you so. Brilliant, let's get her back. Got a bit of afterburner in the distance, Jace.
Yeah.
So,
is it Airwolf? Right. Well, you'll have to forgive the GoPro, but it's necessary. Technically, a quick rundown. Changed all the rigs on a hunch. I went to make a cup of tea. 4 minutes later, the right-hand rod rattles. We dealt with that. Recast it. We were going to spod, and I said, controlled experiment, don't spod, and how quickly we get the next bite will tell us how the fish are feeding, how much bait is left in the swim, and how much we're being done on the original tactic. And literally, I would say if the first bite was 4 minutes, this one was maybe 20 minutes. So we've had a morning of very, very little action, complete change of tactics, no more bait in the swim, 3 casts, and in 20 minutes, 2 of them are gone. That tells us everything we need to know.
excellent. Right-hand rod, middle rod.
Yes.
Which just leaves left-hand rod and right-hand rod, which is now back out. I must say, you look very attractive with that GoPro on your head, Jason.
Oh.
Anyway, to the fish. Right, let's do a bit of crude zooming. There we go, that's better. Is it another 30 pounder, Jace?
I don't think so. I haven't seen it properly. It's just not got the movement of water.
But it's another bite.
It's fine. I'm more interested in looking at where the hook is.
Yes.
Because you should be interested where you hook your fish, because it tells you information that only you get to know.
Yeah.
And if you've made a significant tactic change like we just have, you need that information.
No, that makes absolute sense. Right. That's the business of weighing. Weighing? Netting. Get in the hole.
I love it when a plan comes together.
You just stuck the rods up at me then.
No, I was smoking Hannibal's cigar.
Oh, right. You must have gone mad. A pretend cigar. Loving it.
I love it when a plan comes together.
No, that's more like it. Oh my god. We have gone insane. Beautiful. How very odd.
Look at him. Fighting fit. Full of muscle. And that's just a fish.
Yeah, he's a little angry machine, that one.
He is, mate. Let's let him go. Thank you for coming. Go on, sweetheart. There you go.
Well, good afternoon, and what a lovely afternoon it is. Welcome to the new Bull Motel. Now, you might be wondering, what the hell is this shelter the Bull's been using in this particular session? Obviously, it's been in shop quite a few times. You probably think, well, I've not seen one of those before. Even if you have, doesn't matter, bear with me on this. The particular shelter I'm using is a standard Tempest Brolly. However, it is covered by a Tempest Brolly utility front. So, what's it all about? Well, Jason, come into my boudoir. Come closer. Right. We got one side here, if I just gesticulate, if that's the right word with my hands. I've got my bed down one of the sides where I would normally actually have it sort of side to side at the back. Now, by actually doing that, what it has done, if I just spin around the other side, it's just opened up loads of additional storage space down the other side. Now, naturally, if you're looking at this, you think I've got a barra bag, a cookware bag, a couple of aqua stacks boxes, my bivvy table. You could easily put another bed down this side. So if for whatever reason you're fishing with your partner, husband, wife, whatever, or you're fishing with a friend, maybe you want to share a swim, or if you're taking your son or daughter fishing, you've got the option of effectively, with a one-man Tempest Brolly, purchasing the additional utility front and then transforming it into a two-man shelter without all the hassle of having a huge dedicated two-man shelter. And I think that's the key thing here. It's the versatility of actually using something which is very compact, very lightweight, and then being able to transform it and add to it when you need it. And that was exactly what I needed on Tuesday night when we got here. The weather was absolutely horrific. It was lashing it down and I needed that extra space. So normally I'd have my skull cap on this particular session, mainly because of the weather and the fact that I've got all of my camera gear, which is incidentally is all stashed down the side here. I've got a big stacks box where I've got all my camera kit. I've got a leisure battery here, so I just needed somewhere where I could keep everything safe, dry and easily accessible, all in one place. So yeah, no brainer. The utility front was definitely going to go on. Now, if you just follow me quickly, I'll come around this side. I probably need to just quickly explain how it actually attaches to the Tempest Brolly. And I will say it's simple because it is. Now I can't quite reach to there, but what we've got on either side, just on the pole brake on what is known as the pole 3, we've got a clip on this side and one on the other, and then we've got two which actually clip up by the boss. So you've got one that clips on either side of the pole, and there's a little Velcro fastener just for added security. And then effectively what you've got here, running down the profile of the main pole, is an elasticated gaiter, which just follows the contours of the pole and the bivvy, and it just takes it down to the bottom where you've got two pegging points just to lock it into position. And what you've probably noticed underneath here, there's also a frame support bar. So you've got one on this side, which is angled just to take the bar out to the front, just to keep the shape. Now there's one of these over the other side, and there is also a central one which has got a metal spigot which actually goes into the front of the Tempest Brolly, which again a standard fitting with a screw where you can actually extend it just to push the utility front out, just to hold its shape. And then effectively all you do then, you just peg it out. So it really is that simple. It weighs next to nothing, so you can just keep it in the car or the van, and if you need it, then you can throw it up. Other things that it's got: inset panel mesh in the door, twin Velcro rod straps, and then you've got the press studs if you just want to unpeg the front and then just roll it back, say during the day if it's a sunny day like this and you don't actually need the whole thing down. There's double zips in the door, so you can actually letterbox the utility front should the weather sort of turn and you get the wind and rain blowing into you. It's absolutely ideal. So there we go, that's the Bull Motel for this Brasenose One session. I'm absolutely chuffed to bits with it. I have used it in testing. Must admit I haven't used it recently, but I love my Tempest Brolly, and I must admit the Tempest Brolly utility front is certainly one that will be coming me on future sessions. It's been an absolute winner. Bull cam out. Come on in. Well, it looks like we've got a weather change again, and that sky's looking pretty moody, and I'm hoping with a weather change perhaps going to be a bit of a fish action change. It's been very quiet this afternoon, however there could be a slight reason for that. We've been doing a bit of product filming this afternoon, and to be fair we've probably been a bit lazy on keeping the bait going in. We did have a deliberate ploy of actually starving the swim of any food for a couple of hours. This is now the third bite on one of Jason's amended long crick balanced corn rigs. So with not a lot else going on, certainly around us, at least we've managed to eke a couple of bites out, or 3 bites on it. But yeah, this is probably going to be my last chance of the session, because being the caring, sharing, lovely man that the Bull is, I'm going to make way for Mr. Cann to actually move into the swim properly for the final night. I've got to be off early in the morning, as in for gates in the morning at 7 o'clock, and rather than risk a 5 AM pack down in the rain, my bivvy's down and literally the rods are out. I've stuck the Tempest Brolly in the utility front at the back of the swim, and then Jason's going to move in. So this fish, whatever it is probably a good end point. So Jason's already clipped up. Oh, it thinks it's a marlin. It's just come flying out the water. Yeah, Jason's clipped up, ready to go. And I think if I'm lucky enough to get this in the net, I'm going to call it a day on what has been an absolutely brilliant session. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been great to be back at Linear Fisheries. Not been on site for 2 years, I think, as we previously mentioned. And sleep deprived, covered in mud, looked like hell, and in need of sleep. It's been great. So from my point of view, I'm going to smash the camera with the landing net. Let me just net this fish and I'll be back. Come on. Anyway, I've got the face on. Went to show off that carp. Bloody thing swam away, didn't it? I just went to lift it out of the water. Whoosh, gone. Cricket bat mirror. Done me. Bully out. Goodbye.
Yes. Got me cooking. I can't catch, so they've got me cooking.
Well, I've retired, and it's a well-deserved Copperberg pair. Cheers, boys.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thank you very much for a lovely couple of days.
What we got here? Jalfrezi.
Jalfrezi and probably a couple of sweet and sour chickens. They're all going in the mix.
Final evening curry.
Yeah, lovely.
And the boys are on the social. Cheers. Thank you very much, Brasenose One. Thank you very much, Mr. Reed and Mr. Cann. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been good fun.
We'll do it again.
Well, I guess for this session, we can kind of wrap things up and say good evening, goodbye. Can't guarantee that we won't be back later on with a bit of fish action. I certainly hope that we are. But certainly on behalf of me, Adam, Jace, Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bull Cam, Adam Reed, Jason Cann.
Indeed.
Out. Good night. Cheers.